I love living in Japan, and I love Japanese food, but as one would expect, there's some food I miss that's difficult to find here. Having grown up in the American Southwest, I love Mexican food. Unfortunately, good Mexican food isn't always easy to find in Japan, especially if you live in the countryside like I do. In America, Taco Tuesday was a weekly ritual for me, and I've been missing it. So I've decided to continue this ritual in Japan, even if it means making the tacos myself, using ingredients I can find here. Sometimes the tacos might be as authentically Mexican as I can make them. Other times, they might be more inspired by Japanese dishes. And I thought, what better way to start Taco Tuesday in Japan than with taco? Translator's note, taco is the Japanese word for octopus. As you may already know, takoyaki are a popular food in Japan, consisting of fried balls of dough filled with ingredients. So our first tacos for Taco Tuesday are going to be takoyaki tacos. Now my kitchen is tiny, so I'm going to see what I can do with the little bit of space that I have. First, we're going to make our batter. We're going to crack open some eggs and whisk those up. Then we've got our takoyaki flour. This takoyaki flour was made by Otafuku. They're kind of like the Heinz of Japan. They make all sorts of things. We're going to throw that in with some water, some dashi powder, and some soy sauce. We'll mix all that together until all the clumps are gone, and then we're going to stick that in the fridge until we need it. Now for the octopus. Don't worry about cross-contamination from the eggs on this cutting board. Eggs in Japan are exceptionally clean. People in Japan regularly eat them raw. I got this octopus tentacle pre-cooked from the supermarket. I certainly could have boiled a raw one myself, but I've heard it's actually the cleaning process that's something of a hassle. I'm hoping I don't make these pieces too big, but I like bigger pieces in my takoyaki. It's actually a bit of a pet peeve of mine when I get takoyaki and the pieces are so small that I can't even notice them. So now that we've got that cut up, let's head on over to our takoyaki plate and induction heater. I got this electric takoyaki plate from Don Quijote. If you've ever been to Japan or watched a lot of videos about Japan, you know about Don Quijote. This takoyaki plate was really cheap. It was only about 1,300 yen, which I think is like 10 bucks with the current exchange rate. So we're going to oil up the plate really good. I got this little oil brush and cup at Daiso, which you may know is the big chain of 100 yen stores in Japan. It's like if a dollar store didn't suck. They've got all sorts of useful things that are often pretty well made and rarely cost more than 100 yen. In fact, almost all of the utensils you see in this video were purchased at Daiso. Basically everything except the knife I used and the single chopstick you see here. Now that the plate is oiled, we're going to turn it on and wait for that to heat up a bit before we put in our batter. Then we're going to put a big piece of octopus in each spot, followed by some pickled ginger. I actually didn't have to buy any pickled ginger because I had this pickled ginger left over from Skia. Skia is a major fast food beef bowl chain in Japan, and with every meal they give you a side of pickled ginger, but I never eat mine, so I had a bunch extra. Next, we're going to add bonito flakes and green onion, and if you're wondering why you didn't see me cut up any green onion, it's because I couldn't, for the life of me, find any whole uncut green onions. I went to multiple supermarkets and I only saw cut green onions. I did see long and thin onions that were kind of like green onions, but they weren't really the same. That's pretty strange when they're a staple ingredient in multiple cuisines around the world, including Japanese cuisine, including this dish in particular. There must have been some sort of reason they weren't readily available. Last, we're going to add in our tempura scraps. These are basically like when you go to Long John Silver's and they give you the extra pieces of crispy fryer runoff. These are so common in Japan that they're sold in big bags, but these were included with the takoyaki flour. So this is my first time ever making takoyaki, and I'm hoping I don't mess it up. I've heard these cheap takoyaki plates can heat kind of unevenly, and as you can already see, the ones on the outside are cooking faster than the ones on the inside. I would have expected the opposite to be true. We'll let these cook for a bit, and then we're going to flip them with our little takoyaki poker that I also got from Daiso. The trick to making takoyaki is to only flip them on their sides, rather than all the way upside down. That way, you can pour in more batter to seal in the fillings. Now, I thought I'd fucked these up. They weren't cooking evenly, and some of them seemed to be getting really crispy, while others were still just a liquid mess. I try flipping them around a bit with the poker and a chopstick. This isn't actually all that uncommon when people make takoyaki in Japan. After a little bit of time, these were all starting to take on the distinctive ball shape, and while they're not pretty, they're unmistakably takoyaki. I wish I could cook some of the center ones a bit more, but I'm worried about the ones on the outside burning. So I turn off the plate and let those finish as I heat up a few tortillas in the pan on the induction cooker. I'm going to try to heat these up as I'm plating. So tortillas aren't exactly common in Japan. A lot of stores that have a focus on international foods only sell flour tortillas, but I want the more authentic corn tortilla taste. And the only place I've seen that consistently sells corn tortillas is Caldi. Caldi is kind of like Cost Plus in America. They have a lot of international foods. Instead of the usual muzak that plays in Japanese retail, Caldi plays salsa over the speakers. Caldi sells corn tortillas in the freezer section. They're not fresh, but they're perfectly serviceable. Maybe one of these days I'll buy some cornmeal and try to make some tortillas myself. So now we've got our tacos plated, and they need to be garnished. But before we do that, I think I'm going to try one of these takoyakis and see how they turned out. Yeah, that's really tasty. A little bit on the salty side though. I like really salty, but I think I might have put in more soy sauce than I should have. Still, these taste nice for my first time making them. Now, to garnish our tacos, we're first going to put on some takoyaki sauce. This was also made by Otafuku. Then we're going to put on some more of our bonito flakes, and after that we're going to sprinkle on some aonori, which is like powdered seaweed. We're going to put that on 2 of them, and green onion on the 3rd. And last, these are going to get a drizzle of Kewpie mayonnaise, a staple ingredient in any Japanese household. And now, here are our finished takoyaki tacos, but we're still not done yet. What are we going to have with our tacos? We have this onion here, and we're going to dice some of that and throw it into this little bowl here. Then we're going to dice up this tomato and put some of that into the bowl. We're going to add some garlic powder. I could have chopped up garlic, but I opted for garlic powder because I wanted the flavor of garlic evenly dispersed, without any big chunks. This is the cheap store-brand garlic powder, which honestly is perfect for me because the more expensive ones have bigger grains. Last, we're going to cut up this avocado here and throw it into the bowl. And so this bowl is actually a little mortar and pestle, which I also got at Daiso for 100 yen. We're going to mash that all together and make a mess in the process, but after a little bit, we've got some guacamole. We're going to serve that with tortilla chips that I got from Costco. Now, what are we going to have to drink with our tacos? If there's one thing that's more difficult to find in Japan than good tacos, it's good margaritas. I have no idea why. The problem isn't the tequila. The margaritas I've had here usually have good tequila. The problem is almost always the mix. So I made a trip to Yamaya earlier. Yamaya is a chain of liquor stores in Japan. They also sell some international foods, but they only have flour tortillas. Their liquor selection is pretty much the same no matter which location you go to, which doesn't help you very much if you're in the big city, but out here in the countryside, Yamaya is a godsend for decent tequila, which is what we're going to pick up. I chose this bottle here. We're also going to get some Grand Marnier to make a Cadillac-style margarita, and some bottled lime juice. This stuff here is great. It's simple, real lime juice. I think most of the other restaurants use like watered-down lime syrup or something. Back at home, we're going to salt the rim of a glass and throw in some ice. These little syrup packets are often given with coffee or tea at fast food restaurants. They also make for conveniently portioned simple syrup. I bought a bag of them at Yamaya. I don't have any shot glasses or jiggers, so we're just going to use a sake cup here. We're going to pour in half a sake cup of Grand Marnier first. I also bought the sake cup at Daiso, along with a sake bottle. They have a little fugu on them. I thought they were really cool. Then we're going to put in a full sake cup of our tequila. I tried it a bit on its own and I didn't love it, but maybe it'll be better in a margarita. Then last we're going to fill up the rest with lime juice, and because I don't have a cocktail shaker, I'm just going to stir that up. They might have had cocktail shakers at Yamaya, but I forgot to check. Now the margarita's all done, so let's see how that tastes. Yeah, that definitely does make the tequila a lot better. I found that the best margaritas I've had in Japan are the ones I've made myself. And there we have it, our takoyaki tacos and everything that goes with them. So how did they turn out? Yeah, that's pretty great. They could be more evenly cooked and a bit easier on the soy sauce, but for my first time making takoyaki, these turned out fine. A solid 4 out of 5.